Hello, this is our SGDQ 2025 submission for Jazzpunk Special Agent. My name is Osmorn. With me I have...
Hello, my name is SatanHerself.
And hello, my name is Mango, or TheeMaskedMango.
And with us we have Commentator.
Ragadan. And I've run this game for many years, but I will not be running today. I'll be trying to interject with anything that I think is helpful or cool, perhaps.
Yes, Dan has been running this for quite a long time, so he's here to help us with some commentary while we do our race. Of course, the three of us will be providing commentary when we can as well. But with that being said, what is exactly Special Agent? Well, it essentially... what the community describes as, what if you took 100% and then you took all the things that made 100% not fun and then you left it with this run? That's essentially what Special Agent is. It is considered kind of like an all achievements category because a lot of what you do is, achievement hunting in this game, in the specific run. And so we're going to see a lot of achievements and also a lot of just silly tasks that we're going to be doing. And I want to pass it to my other, of course, racers to say more about this category as well. Satan, if you want to say more.
Yeah, the way I describe it is a little bit more like any percent is cool, but also we miss all of the funny jokes. So we add a lot of the funny jokes and the cool tech moments back in. So this category does have some stuff that you would see repeated in any percent, but because we add so much stuff in, it actually reroutes us in a way that makes it look pretty distinct from any percent as well. So it's a pretty cool and interesting category. The other thing that's really nice about it is I think it's a fantastic race category because there are certain points in this run that are very RNG heavy, or at least somewhat RNG heavy. So even if some things are going better for some runners early and not as well for others, there are ample opportunities in especially the mid-game to catch up. So it's a really nice, tight, and exciting race.
Yes, exactly. I do like the way that we described it. Like, I described it as 100%, but without the things that make 100% not fun. And then you said any percent, but then you add all the fun things. Regardless,
Exactly, yeah.
Our point being, this is like everything that is fun in the game until one speedrun. So,
Yeah.
that's pretty much all we have. I don't know if Mango or Dan has anything else to add to that before we get into it.
I was and Satan just about covered it, yeah.
Well, you could,
Yeah.
Are you mentioning the incentive at this time?
I was just about to say one thing that we should mention is that we do have a bonus incentive that we will be offering for this as well. There's a DLC called Flavor Nexus, and we have also made a special agent category for that, and we can race that as well. It's a nice little sub 10, even probably sub 9, we haven't quite decided yet, incentive, so it's really quick to add on to the end, but it's a nice bonus race with all sorts of other funny jokes included. So yes, we come to you with incentives.
Yes. But with that being said, is everyone ready to start?
I'm ready.
Wonderful. We're going to go to chapter select here, and timing will begin. Actually, everyone get ready. Go into it, because timing begins on our first input. And so we're going to start up here with Darlington Station. And of course, I don't know if we mentioned it, but I'm going to reiterate, this is a silly block submission, so just wait. You'll see a bunch of silly stuff in this run. And I absolutely love what we're going to be seeing. But yeah. That being said, Dan, if you want to count us down.
Alright, so on first input, 3, 2, 1, go!
Wonderful.
And that was pretty much simultaneous, that's wonderful.
Yes. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to talk to this box, and the box is going to talk back. That is one of the achievements. We're going to have to talk to 3 of them this run. And immediately we're going to go into an out-of-bounds sequence. Dan, what is this?
So, out of bounds in this game is a very frequent idea, and underneath the map in the first part of the game you can pick up a mission item, teleports you into the first mission without having to talk to another one of the characters in the game who gives you a bit of exposition. It's not very helpful exposition, but it allows you to just skip his cutscene, and it is a great time saver to get into the first level. Wonderful. Even though it looks a little bit mad and confusing for such an early point in the run, it is pretty consistent.
Oh, definitely. And during...
Unfortunately, I did miss it when I was going off of the pill bottle, so I do have to do it fully again. So this will put some of our racers in a bit of an earlier position, but as previously stated, there are loads of time save opportunities in this run.
Right here we play some Frogger, and Frogger is unfortunately actually really, really hard because sometimes the exact cars don't want to cooperate with you, and we're helping this guy grab this frog grab the password to Starbucks across the street. And I'm looking at the corner of my eye, and I know that me and Mango are like neck and neck right now.
So far, there's not a lot of room for anything to go too wrong. I say the intro is consistent, and it usually is, but there are things you can do to make it slightly more or less consistent, I guess.
Ooh.
Landing.
Both got pill bottle first try. What is that pill launch?
No, I missed pill bottle. I launched too far.
Mango just missing the top ball. Very unlucky.
Yeah. So the physics on that exact pill bottle are really weird. If you line yourself up at a very specific angle, you are able to just launch off of it, and hence the reason why we save.
That's pretty good.
Because like it's it can be a little inconsistent sometimes. But it's there is theoretically a way where if you do it the same every time, you will get it the right way every time. But now we have these pheromones. Dan, what do these pheromones do?
It's a little bit unclear, as a lot of items are in this game. Essentially, they cause pigeons to arrive and carry different bystanders off into the distance. And for whatever reason, there's an achievement where you have to do this 3 times. So you need to degauss 3 pigeons and a few agents in the park at the same time. It's a game that's full of objectives like this that are kind of arbitrary in that sense, but even the main missions aren't too much more sort of concrete. Mango's got the craziest
What was that,
I've ever seen in the park. That is amazing. He's flipped through the item and sailed across the park. This probably doesn't help that much, but maybe a little bit.
I've actually never seen that before. That was so funny.
Did you get pigeon launch? I've gotten that before, where if you go on top of a pigeon, it just launches you up. It's wild.
Maybe? I think I got launched off of one of the people.
Flying ahead into the next objective, I should say.
Also, another thing about this degausser gun is that it is way inaccurate. You always have to aim pretty far off of what your target is, especially to sort of the bottom right.
It's so weird.
So it looks easy, it's not.
Yeah, I hate the degausser gun because it's, as Satan said, it feels like so inconsistent sometimes, and the aiming is so weird. I'm about to do some in. I'm just gonna do this just do some identity theft right here. Don't worry about it.
Ooh, I got that. So rough.
Let's go. Alright, wonderful. So that's pretty much the Soviet consulate, but right now I'm going to let some more explanation of the Soviet consulate happen while I wait for this cutscene to end.
I hope you're ready for another job.
So the actual mission that you're doing in this is you're meant to be stealing a data disk from the Soviet consulate place. The reason the Soviet motif is still around is because this is meant to be an alternate Cold War alternate universe post-Cold War game. It's not exactly clear what happened, but the game takes place in a very different country, which is approximately the United States plus some Japanese area. The art style is is led to that creation, and at the moment it's reasonably close between Mango and Satan, who's getting through the Soviet consulate and doing the bonus objectives with Space Invaders. Similar sort of time. Whereas Osmond is moving on to Ikiaki, where I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun explanations about what's going on.
Yeah, first and foremost, we're going to talk to this trash can that's also a spider, and we're going to write it up so that we start this cutscene, but we're not going to activate the mission required for it until later. I'm going to talk to 2 more boxes on this specific alleyway that we're here for. Because, of course, as I said, we have to talk a few cardboard boxes. But then we do the vase minigame, where we have to kill all these flies. Bonus points if you can do it without breaking any vases, but it's almost impossible to do that, so I just don't bother.
Mid-air only, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's pretty quick. And then we're going to do what anyone would do with a giant cotton swab. We're going to put into this guy's ears. There's giant ears. Giant cotton swab for giant ears. And then, so we're here to steal the artificial kidney from this cowboy over here, but we're going to do it in the way that God intended, and by giving him food poisoning.
Oh, poor nice cowboy. He's
Right.
so nice.
I don't know how he fits into the lore or why exactly we want his kidney. I've forgotten the lore in about several years
It's because the director needs to make our steak and kidney pie.
Steak and kidney pie.
Oh, you're so right. I forgot. That's literally explained on the next cutscene, I think, actually. So it's like, that just goes to show how much, like, I just, like, forget about this game and I keep processing it, and it goes in one ear and out the other when I'm speedrunning.
Just like that sandwich that you're gonna eat from that guy's head. Yeah. That's the opposite of me. Everything in this game is burned into my brain
I think I'm
forever.
gonna be sick. Okay, let's go here. We're gonna follow the cowboy. He's in the women's bathroom for some reason, but we're gonna take his kidney. That's very stomach-shaped kidney, and then eat this sandwich off of this guy's brain. And then return a video to Blockbuster, because we need to be responsible and return our videos and be a good citizen.
Yeah, we're being a good citizen in every way in this run. Totally.
Yes. Totally. There's nothing illegal that we do in this run, in any way.
At all.
So this is the Replicants minigame. Ragged Dan, what is the Replicants minigame here?
If you haven't seen Blade Runner, I think this game wouldn't look out of place as a Blade Runner fan game, to be honest, but it's a bit like the replicant system in that you essentially go and have to, quote-unquote, retire some real replicants, and in this game that means they're essentially humans, and the robots are the dominant force, or at least that is what appears to be happening. And there's a little fun minigame where you have to walk around and photograph people with a void cough machine, which is actually just a photo scanner.
Yeah.
And
Void cough machine.
in the world of retro technology, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so honest. I have never read the original Blade Runner book, that I know it's not called Blade Runner, and I've also never seen either movie, and so I did not, in any way, shape, or form, know that this was a Blade Runner reference until you said it just now.
Well, you're not engaging with the deep lore of the universe? Oh my gosh.
I say it like literally every run I do. I love Blade Runner, and this game loves it too.
Oh yeah.
And it's like pop culture central.
There's a lot more
everywhere.
that's beyond just that quest. That you can, the art style in general, I'm sure you've noticed, is very much like the Blade Runner film, the first one anyway.
That's very true.
The second one is definitely there. But
The funny thing about these replicants is that you have to have your crosshair on them, and it won't count if you don't. I mean, you could have the entire replicant within your camera, and it will not count if your crosshair isn't on them. This is the rudest position of an NPC I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, is it blocking you completely? That'll
Yes.
happen. That's one of the
that's the
few
worst.
RNG things in this portion of the run is where the NPCs are in Ikiaki Alley really differs.
whilst there isn't a huge amount of RNG, it's a kind of a big one. Yeah, it's surprising actually how much it influences things. But
Yes.
in
I'm
terms
going
of how
to.
everyone's doing, yeah, sorry to overrule that. I think Upwarp is just finishing the real fun in the game, whereas the other two are basically just about to start it. So it's pretty interesting in terms of people actually
Too
reasonably.
bad. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad at all, especially because I could lose a lot of time later.
Oh yeah, anybody could gain and lose tons and tons of time in the mid game in this run, so it is absolutely anyone's game.
Yeah.
Up until late, even like Fruit Ninja, you could lose Fruit Ninja and lose your lead.
I
too.
could
There's
lose
lots of
Fruit
ways
Ninja.
to-
I really could.
Yep, lose it. There is Fruit Ninja in this game. Just keep watching.
Keep watching.
Oh man.
I'm going
It's
to
a
go.
2014 indie game.
It's
It was
true.
it was all the rage.
I am going to go and rob a bank. Now, I do want to shout out the hard work the community does, and they have found a nice little skip for this section. However, it is incredibly unmarathon safe, because if you fail it once, you soft lock, and so we are not going to be doing it. And also, we get to see more of the bank. It actually has really good jokes and some really nice tech in it.
Yeah.
So I am actually really excited that we get to see it. But we need to assemble this sneeze gun, and then go and
Fantastic.
sniff up some germs. This is usually the
I
part
think
where
the
I'm.
fun is that it's a computer virus, but as a biologist, they look more like bacteria, so I'm not sure I get it.
Yeah, we're going to rob this bank with sneezeware. Usually this is at some point in the run where I will ask the host or whoever is on commentary with us, if they don't know the game, that what do you think we're going to do with this sneeze gun? And I think only once a person has gotten it correct, where we give the security system a virus by just sneezing
The
on
great
it.
witticism in the game is you're giving
Because
the
they look
computer
like
a virus.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot like that in this. You've got to sort of thank the developers for that. Sort of, there's so much of that witticism thing.
Satan, who are these
And
characters?
also just to expound. Oh, I was just gonna talk a little bit about that skip we're not doing.
Oh, okay.
Just how it sort of works is that you clip underneath those stairs that are in front of the bank. You use your sneezeware gun. You jump on top of the virus particles, and you get into a thing underneath the stage. So it's the same principle as the very first skip in the game, except for again, it's harder in general, and it also soft locks you. So we're not going to be doing it here. But
Yeah, it soft locks you because anytime you go into like a side area that isn't the main level, you are prevented from saving, and so you can't like save and load and try it again, which is the unfortunate part. And so, yeah, who are these characters that we're seeing here, Satan?
Well, they are Blade Runner reference, the character. But for real, we've got our animatronic friends, and unfortunately, all of them are going to go down, but one, kind of our ringleader of the operation. And do you think we're going to be nice to her? What do we think?
Well, if you've been watching, then you know for certain that no, because I just finished it, and I'm going to Maniac Wrestling now.
Oh, yes, go ahead, take that.
So yeah, this is Maniac, and he wants to wrestle us. And there's a lot of dialogue from both the announcer and Maniac himself, and it is actually completely RNG which dialogue pieces they will choose for both of them. And so the first one is pretty standard for him. Let's see what Maniac said.
It's a pretty average one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 30 some odd that he can choose from, and
really
they have a
fast,
decently large range, Psychomaniacs.
Yes.
Dialogue.
Yeah. The longest one that I've
announcer
encountered.
guy is less bad.
Yeah. The longest one that I've encountered is that he will go on like a 2+ minute rant about hemorrhoids. Oh no! I had him in the perfect position for like fighting, and then I accidentally tossed him down before I put up
I've done that.
I accidentally let him go before I put up the boxing gloves. But it's fine. It doesn't really lose that much time. It doesn't really lose that much time. The ideal thing was that I was supposed to like lift him up, and in the position that I lifted him up in that you saw, I can able to actually pick up the gloves and just keep him there and just keep punching him like that. And so
it's a great glitch. I hope one of us at least gets to see it.
Yeah. Thankfully, if you fail it, it does not lose that much time, especially if you immediately go grab the gloves and just start punching him.
Yeah, that's always the backup. But yeah, it's RNG, both whether you'll pick him up at all and whether you'll pick him up in the right position. You can also pick him up such that his head is showing, and that's not gonna work.
Oh, come on. Okay, I'm about to leave. Please.
Alright, I'm gonna stand on Psychomaniac. Oh, I'm gonna try at least.
Maniac is not participating in this.
Mango's got it absolutely perfect. I'm loving it.
This is your last chance. We've tried to reason with you.
Alright, and you can actually just, you're supposed to do this temple. You can light this candle through the wall, as one does. And then we light the incense and meditate a little bit before we move on. Alright, meditation done. I'm gonna let Satan and Mango take over while I wait for this cutscene to end.
Sounds good. I think we're probably both in Psychomaniac right now.
Yes, I'll tell you
I got
5 seconds.
fine dialogue.
Let's go.
Nice. I'm hoping to get it right here. Oh no, I kicked him. That's
like
good.
the worst thing you could do. Oh no.
Yeah, not my choice. It is RNG what you do to him. Ah, good.
I think that was actually like the best Johnny Psycho fight I've ever had.
Nice. Yeah. I love getting ideal fight. I picked him up a little bit later, so it probably only lost about 5 seconds on my end. Not that much.
Yeah.
So we both had good fights.
Yeah, decent.
Keep it close.
Now I'm at Kaitak Resort. Kaitak Resort has a lot of stuff, and it is also the part of the run in which the players could lose the most time, because it's the most RNG dependent portion of the run. And also just has a lot of execution heavy tricks. But first I'm going to fight a Hondo Accord, as one does. And this particular fight with the Honda Accord, it is not just beat the crap out of the Honda Accord. You actually do have to like beat up the individual parts and wait and make sure that they're broken. That's like the only real way that you'll make the health bar go down. You do not want him to do the roundhouse kick like they just did, because that loses a little bit of time. When exactly he'll do that is a little bit random, and so keep that in mind.
Yeah, I have my theories about why that happens, but we haven't really been able to suss out exactly yet.
Yeah, that was a decent fight. Pretty average.
You probably noticed with a lot of these that there are a lot of video game references inside Jazzpunk, and that's pretty obliquely Street Fighter that comes towards you. So it's pretty awesome how much there is. You'll see that later in the run too.
And also, speaking of video game references, do y'all like Quake?
Oh yeah, big one.
This is
And weddings?
yeah,
Like
and
marriage?
weddings. This is the iconic wedding Quake. It is a spoof on Quake 2 specifically, in which I will have to do a lot of battles in a Quake style PvP match, and I'm going to let Dan explain exactly what it is because I really like to focus during this section.
So Wedding Quake is this sort of shooter mini game which you have to beat all the rounds of on all the levels to win the game. You can lower this to getting 5 kills per level, perfectly within the rules of the category, which is great. But it is pretty RNG dependent in the sense that AI run around randomly, and their weapon spawn locations are sometimes random, particularly on the chapel, which Osmond is on at the moment. And Wedding Quake really can make or break the run in some ways. Sometimes it doesn't work out at all. Sometimes the AI wins and you have to restart the level completely. The main thing is you want to beat the AI, even if it's a little bit slow, just for some sort of semblance of consistency. Now, both of Mango and Satan are on the fight, so that's all I can hear. But I'm still like engrossed by the gift that Osmond is doing at the moment. Basically, I think if anyone should get a shout out for this, is probably LS300, who discovered that you can teleport to the second player in Wedding Quake on a couple of the levels, and you're automatically given an instant kill weapon, so which makes 2 of the levels very consistent and very fast. And it doesn't work for all of them, and it's not necessarily better for all of them. Some of them it's better to have a homing launcher, and at least for these couple of levels, it's very consistent.
I will, unfortunately, I do need to like be careful because I do have 4 kills. But if the game is doing that weird thing where if I like do this for too many times, then if you like respawn too many times, then the game will like do huge lag spikes if you respawn again. So that is a time loss for me because I don't want my game to crash.
We have Satan with a slightly better Rose rocket launcher spawn. Mango's still doing pretty well. He's both on Chapel. Osmond has moved on.
I'm also doing the 4-player version of Chapel, which is a strat I sort of am pioneering a little bit.
Let's talk about that. That's really interesting. I think that's a really interesting tech, actually.
Yeah. I think it's probably on average better, but it is risky. Oh, especially when you accidentally pick up the finger.
I do hate to say it, gang, but I did get the best spawn for the Kaitak map.
Aww. You hate to hear it. Alright. But yeah, the reason I played that in player 4 players, is that even though it's a bit more risky, in a couple ways, you get more bodies to shoot. And I think overall that does make it faster as long as you practice.
Welcome.
Yeah, I think that's definitely very possible. It's very new, though, but it's very possible.
Let's see here. I got not the best spawn for the last map, but it wasn't the best spawn either. In these last 2 maps, you want to use the Gravy Boat because the Gravy Boat is a one-hit KO, and you can also aim it to where you need it to go. With that being said, this is a really dangerous map because enemies could spawn behind me. There is a spawn point there, and so I just need to make sure that, you know, that doesn't screw me over.
An extremely rare spawns in Darknet that allowed me to get extra kills. Wow, that was really good.
Come on. Did that kill him? What happened? He just went past me? What? Okay. I was like, he's not gonna attack me? Okay.
With that Osmond has beaten Wedding Quake.
Yes, and it looks like there's some disparity here because especially Satan is actually not that far behind me. Really not. That's how.
I've had a pretty good one so far, and I think I'm gonna have a good Kaitak day here as well. If I get lucky.
I just got, I think, the worst spawn in Kaitak.
Oh no.
Yes, he's in the very back corner, sadly.
However, again, this run is very variable because I'm pretty sure like the world record gets the worst spawn in Kaitak Resort and still has a world record.
Yeah, I think that's right. I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah, Satan is really close behind me because she's been getting a really good
Yeah,
Quake
great
right
RNG, great execution so far. Pretty happy.
The main time loss for me there was when I couldn't do the respawn glitch again in one of the levels because I'm just like, this is way too risky for me to like freeze the game and accidentally crash. And so I don't want to do that. Right now I'm in a nudist beach. We have to do a bunch of teleporting wormholes in order to get to the nudist beach. And then we're gonna use our metal detector to find a few hidden objects throughout the beach, including this most valuable indie game player. And of course, there's a regular treasure chest and a Star Wars reference right here. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, just a man in a cryogenic chamber. It's fine.
All right, done with Wedding Quake for me.
All right. And now I'm done.
I got
with
the best spawn in Master Pack, but like no one is around me.
Oh, okay.
I've gotten 1 kill so far.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, I got pretty good spawns and RNG. If Bachelor Pad had let me win on the first shot, I would have saved about 20-25 seconds though. So you can see how swingy it is. Yeehaw.
Please, please, please. Okay. Now we're going to go over here to... We're going to break our neck first because that is required for an achievement. On those diving boards.
Wedding Quake done.
Nice, nice.
Brutal but true.
Everyone survived Quake. That's some good news.
That's good.
Yes,
now...
no, that is great news. This is relatively close for a category with this much RNG.
Right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It's a really good showing so far.
And, well, if I could get past all the random invisible walls here in Pizza Cabin. This is Pizza Cabin. I'm going to... There's a bunch of enemies. You only need to kill the 3 that are in front of the door, because that's the only way the door will open. Perfect. There we go. And then we're gonna go in Pizza Cabin, and we're just gonna wait for everything to laugh. Why are you in this? Why are you in the cabin? Why are you in here?
That's never happened before.
Oh my god.
That's never happened before.
I was gonna be like, this is an Evil Dead 2 reference, and I'm just like, well, it doesn't matter because I'm too distracted by the fact that one of the pizza zombies got into the cabin.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Yeah. How are they able to do that? That's funky.
I think he
Jazzpunk is a treasure trove of that's never happened before. This game
it really is.
Has so much wackiness built into it, and also as a consequence of the way that it is constructed.
This particular skip that I'm doing right here, I'm gonna let Draga Dan explain because I would like to focus on it.
So there's a cutscene that you need to activate in order for the game to progress here that Osmond is doing, but you can't move around during the cutscene, which isn't great. There is, however, an item just in the bathroom of this hotel room that can break the cutscene's lock on the player's movement. So Osmond is just saving, loading, and then jumping towards that item slowly. It only takes 2 or 3 usually, but he's got it and can now go straight down to the next objective in the bar area without having to sit through the cutscene. There's nothing else you can do to skip it exactly except for something called save corruption, which you've probably heard of in other speed games, and in any percent that's really good. It doesn't work here because you need to do other save loads in Special Agent, but it's basically just a really nice little way of getting to another objective quickly. And I think, yeah, the other 2 are still very close. It's going really well, I think, for the race.
It can be. It's still anyone's game, especially with how much potential time loss there is still left.
Well, there's obviously golf, which can be surprisingly.
Golf. Yeah, golf is huge. Pizza, Fruit Ninja, and even the Wetworks. There's lots of places where you can save and lose time just about everywhere. Like I just lost time by not jumping out of the pool. Nice.
For me, I was able to kiss 3 people using the disguise that I did in very poor makeup that I just put 1 dot around my cheek, and then the game considered that to be lipstick.
You are gorgeous, Osborne.
Yes. Lore update: we got poisoned by the editor, and we are now or got drugged by the editor, and now we are here. And I'm going to do a little bit of a save glitch right here. I'm going to save and load in the middle of this elevator, and then the elevator will go down without me in it, but the game still thinks that I'm in the elevator. And if I bring the elevator up while I'm mid-air, you can see that the game kind of brings me up, is trying to bring me up with it, but can't really resist the force of gravity. And so it wants to do that. I want to bring the elevator up while I'm in midair, not only to give me more height, but because I want to set it up for later, and that's pretty much one of the few times you can do it without losing time. Because the game still thinks I'm in the elevator, it allows me to do this specific clip that I do here. You're supposed to do something with this pig in order to get to where I'm about to go now. And so instead, you can actually just call the elevator to go down, and then clip through the elevator like that. And now we're in Wetworks. What were you going to say, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect execution and explanation of what's going on, yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
And in Wetworks, there is this chance. First of all, the bitrate will fall apart slightly, so we apologise for that. But there's also the chance that you can get sent backwards in pipes and fall off of things, and there's a lot of room to maybe slip up. It should be reasonably okay. It's a short section, but it's surprising how much time you can lose on this.
Yeah, no joke. I think that happens in IPB. I think that happens in my PB where I get sent backwards.
That happens in my PB that I just set a little bit ago. It can be really hard to avoid.
Really, yeah. As long as you like stay in the center and you don't like go out of the tube that you're in while you're going through it, then it should be fine.
Yeah, it won't happen if you do that, but the physics are slipperier than they look.
This is
They already
true.
look pretty slippery, so it's one of those things that takes skill.
This is true. Alright, I'm going into Darlington Station again to start the final stretch of this game. There's one last area that we have to go to. Meanwhile, I'm going to let Satan and Mango explain a little bit more about what they're doing and get any details that I might have missed while I wait for this cutscene to end.
So I completely forgot to get that fruit kiss that Osborne was talking about, so I had to restart this section. Yippee.
Being a purist of the objectives, at least, but it's time.
Yeah.
So you will have a valid run at the end of it.
That's true. This is true.
That's a good thing. Yeah, there are a lot of little things. It's possible to miss things here and there. Like I've accidentally missed some of the decausser guys before. You know, it happens.
This is true.
Not a big deal though.
I did try and run back and get it real quick, but I ended up slipping too quickly before I could.
And now
we got there.
I am here in the bachelor pad. I'm going to talk to this guy and then save and load so I can skip the cutscene here. And then we're going to sneak in as an exterminator and we're going to get rid of all these bugs right here. Right here, is that it? Ooh, I'm missing 2 here. Is that it? Yeah, the moment I hear that ding, that means it's fine. I've gotten everything. And now Fruit Ninja. I could lose a lot of time here. I need to get every single one of these fruits. And if I don't, I need to start over. And unfortunately, it is a lengthy time loss because you cannot just start over immediately. You have to wait for all of the fruits to finish before you can move on. Oh, my
So it's
strat
one
of
of
like...
those late game things that could even us up really well.
Okay, no joke, my strat of like spamming and moving my mouse to the bottom of the screen saved me like so much time. I did it like 5 times that time.
That is harder than it looks. I have tried it and I'm not nearly as consistent as Oz with it. I don't know how he does it. TBH.
Literally, I just pray, and if I don't get it at the bottom of the screen, then I just try and import myself when it's at the top.
Oh, I can't do that because I'm Satan? Wow. Wow.
We're gonna free the director. We're gonna use this control. Excuse me? What the fuck? Why aren't you? There we go. I was like, why aren't you coming out?
That could have been the end of the whole run, to be honest. I don't know. I've not seen that, but there we go.
Yeah.
Seems to have worked pretty well. I've never seen that fail. It would be very weird.
Yeah. We're going to get kissed by this unhygienic man who blocked our kiss with this beautiful woman. And now we're going to wait for this next section where we're going to fight with the editor here so we can free the director. And this crab that says, "Again? What's happening?" But just come on, Polly. Like you know where he is. Go back.
Go back a bit.
Up. There we go. Perfect.
There we stop. Yes. There.
So,
There we go.
The editor has a bat. Is he gonna like beat us up with it?
Polyblack.
You'll see.
We've been expecting.
Meanwhile,
I'll get right to the point.
I'll let
Taken
the other
something
folks
of
take
mine,
over while I wait for
and
this
so I've
cutscene to
taken
end.
something of yours.
A game of sport. Yeah, I'm currently in Fruit Ninja, and I don't play it the same way Oz does. I look at the fruit, and I hope that I can slash it properly. It's also, like, the hitbox on the katana is a little bit odd, so it's one of those things kind of similarly to the degassing gun that you have to get used to. Got it first try, very relieving. I have lost a PB to that one before.
True.
Brutal.
Prove victorious, I will free
So the
you
editor
back
is
to
not going to beat us up with a bat, nor is he going to get his henchmen to beat us up either. We are just going to play mini golf with him, except he's going to cheat, even though he denies the fact that he's going to cheat.
Yeah, not
hints
one
of
hint
foul
of
play.
foul play. Exactly.
Not a hint of foul play.
A home run. I must be a little bit off today. I can't get it up with the editor's lines.
And we're going to play mini golf the only valid way, which is with a cue ball.
Consequences are
With-
in your
Yep.
let's see here. There we go. That should work. No, it didn't. Okay, come on. Seriously? Okay, I was about to say, did that not work? Okay, I'm gonna save and load after I'm done with this first hole because it'll save a little bit of time that the editor takes from walking from one hole to the next. There is a hole-in-one strat that you could possibly do in this. I don't know it. Low-key, I might learn it if we get this in, just so we can be swag. But I don't do it for runs. It would lose more time me setting it up than it would save if I got the hole-in-one.
But it would be swag.
It would be swag. Saving and loading on the second hole doesn't save time because you have to wait for the editor to walk over to the next hole anyway. But after you're done with the third hole, you can just save and load. Seriously.
Oh, that's really good. I just got for ninja first round.
Oh.
You can save and load again, and then you can skip him having to walk all the way up these stairs.
Yeah, I think we're all within about a minute and a half. That's not bad in this category at all.
It really isn't.
Yeah. I think all of our PBs are within about a minute and a half too, so that's very serendipitous.
Yeah. This is true.
It is consistent, yeah. There's nothing that will be insanely bad, I don't think. It's sort of...
Oh yeah, totally.
I think another thing about this game which is interesting, which is this is a boring technical detail, so I massively apologise. But the way that all the characters move around is quite sort of spongy. It's like you're sliding on the ground a little bit. And if you can master that system of sort of inertia, you will save an amazingly large amount of time in this game. And I think that these three are very, very good at it, even maybe without sort of mentioning how, oh yes, here's my movement is perfect, because that would be silly. But even so, the way that you move in this game is remarkably important to how the momentum carries. I don't know. It's unusual in that sense. A lot of speed games don't have something quite like that.
No, that's true. Also, Dan,
yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
It is very kind of unique,
the
way this game works.
Speaking of weird movement, Dan, do you want to explain Gravy Race 64?
Gravy boat, gravy boat, gravy race.
It's a sort of a, again, transparently reference to Wave Race 64 if you've seen or sort of rather play that. But you race a gravy boat around Lake of Gravy, and the movement is very weird. The way that you do the time, well, the way you get the fastest time is just stay on the inside as much as possible. And if you hit the wall, you go flying off to the side and have to then try and get back on track somehow. It's very hard. It's usually quite difficult to lose the race. Winning and losing isn't very consequential, but a good time is sort of in the 40-second, 45, 46-second range. And the movement is very strange, though. It's nothing like the driving of these cars or walking around in the game either.
Although the driving of these cars is weird too.
It is different. It's like weird in a different way.
Exactly.
Because of course.
You can save and load to prevent the editor from having to do all that walk. And then we're going to play virtual tennis the completely fair and respectable way.
And no hint of foul play from us either.
No hint of foul play from us either. This is perfectly legal. I promise. And the editor still thinks that he's winning, if you can believe it after that.
Reverse winning.
I love his reverse winning line. It cracks me up all the time.
Also, does anyone want a Bloody Mary on the rocks?
Oh, the darkest joke in the game.
Yeah. They're happy. They're like laughing. They're having fun.
That's a full achievement for it, so.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's up there.
It's even darker because not only do you do it, but you also serve it to the woman that's next to them. Even weirder.
She's delighted. She's delighted.
Yeah, she's parched.
She is parched. She needs a drink. Okay, we're going to pop the editor's ego and goodbye editor. And now I'm going to go save the director and also his assistant. We're going to save the assistant first because she's on the way. And we're going to just take this and eat a copious amount of Jello. Just wait here patiently. 26 hours later. I could eat that whole thing in under like an hour. Like, don't be ridiculous. Now we're going to free our editor. My camera is locked here for a second for some reason. I don't know. I never understood that really. But we're gonna do one last achievement while the editor does his dialogue by scratching those records, and then we're gonna enter his mouth because he got crockified. And then we're gonna save in mode once he swallows us. He's just like, I turn into a crocodile. You're gonna have to swallow. I'm gonna have to eat you. Like, that's the only logical conclusion to this.
Why don't you crawl into my mouth? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it works when you're crockified.
Of course.
Have you been crockified? Do you know?
I should try it one day, honestly. But that's pretty much the end of the run for me. As you can see, the credits are already popping up. All I have to do is get to the end of his esophagus, in which I will hear a message from him, because conveniently he does have a message for this exact purpose. So time's gonna come up in like a minute for me. I will stop. I'm not gonna stop the timer, obviously, but time for me specifically will be when I drink the last bottle of missional.
Yep, and I'm heading towards the Jello section right now, so yeah, we're probably like 40-ish seconds in the initial part. Not sure.
Alright, and there goes Mango, about to finish. Oh, already finished. Gravy race.
Sorry, I had to lock in for a second for that.
And it's time.
Gravy race is hard and requires focus.
This is true. That's time for me. My final time was a 36:20 RTA.
That's really good.
Very respectable. GG.
Thank you.
That's it.
And Satan is very close behind.
Sorry, I was.
Could
What
be
was
one of
your
my
time?
better runs
Sorry?
too.
Yes. It does look like everyone is on track for a sub 40 run, which is really good.
Excellent. You love to see it. Of course, it's all about lines in this section. There is that weird jungle section where you have to slice through. Sometimes you can get kind of stopped around by it. I've had that happen to me. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, it's weird. I try to keep to the left as much as possible, just so I can keep my lines as strict as I can.
Yeah.
I also enjoy some of the not farcical but sort of joke credits that they've implemented in this game. There are people who've helped it, obviously, but a lot of them are just for fun, like the endoscopy being by the player, and
I love that.
the matte portrait painter being done by a man called Matt Painter.
Yes.
It goes on
And that
like
was a really quick
You
credit.
get the picture.
That was a really quick credit sequence because again, this is an indie game. This was made by a good team, but it wasn't made by like a huge team. It's a really nice game.
And we love that team, by the way. Luis reached out to me, the creator of the game, after I did my GDC run. They're really lovely. This is a really fun little game. And if you like joke credits, the incentive has joke credits
It does.
as well.
This is true.
Oh yes.
And that's GG for me.
Wonderful. That's 3802.
Not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Even, especially with the amount of times I had to redo the frog minigame.
Yeah.
Not bad. And
That
then
was
Mango's
that was one of the
Yeah,
fastest
don't
save
even-
loads I've ever seen in my
the,
life. Oh my god. How are you so quick with that menuing? My goodness.
amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. But yeah, I love this run
Actually,
so
pretty
much.
close. That was good.
I love this run so much. It was on backup for SGDQ last year, and so clearly whoever's watching this knows the value behind it. And so I think it's even better as a race, honestly. I think it adds so much more. Just getting, the more people you can have on this laughing together about it, the better, I think.
I think what I was
Completely
about this
agreed.
game in general is that it's actually surprisingly easy to learn. I don't know if this really applies too much to mass audience things, but it is a surprising, particularly the any percent. I think this category is also quite straightforward, even though there are a lot of things to remember.
Yes.
There's nothing that's incredibly hard to get your head around, even though things at the start certainly look quite complex.
That's true. I learned this run in a day. Like I tried to grind this run I learned the whole thing and I just forced myself to learn it in a day, and then I grinded it for a good bit. And so you can definitely learn this run it's really accessible too. So that's, and
Time is coming up.
Time.
Time.
Final time of
GG.
39:36 RTA for Mango.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good.
Very good,
It's a sub
yeah.
40 RTA. Yeah, that's good.
it's good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think everybody performed really well. I agree. I think this is a great race. It has all sorts of different types of speed tech and technique. Movement's really important, but so is being good specifically at the Quake movement and the and aiming in winning Quake and being good at the clips and the and the launches. There's so many different things to be good at and not be good at, and have good RNG and not good RNG in this run that I really do think it makes for a great race. And exactly, the more people, the merrier. Of course, I think any of us would be happy to show this off solo or as a 2-player, but we're we're submitting it as a 3-player because we think that's going to be the best situation. We think that you really, really can. And of course, Jazzpunk is really silly. This would work really well for Silly Block at SGDQ. But also, it is, it's also just a good standalone game too. So it doesn't have to be in Silly Block. It just would work really well for it.
And I do want to, of course, shout out Catlink, who ran this at SGDQ 2021 and inspired me to get into it. I do also just want to point out that there's been a lot of development in this run. There's a lot of stuff that we do in this run that wasn't shown off the first time, and it's also never been in person before. And so I think those two things combined really add a lot of value to accepting it again. And so I would love to see this in any combination, whether it's a solo run by any of us or as a race by any of us. And so I would love to see that. Yeah. Anyone else have anything else they want to add?
Well, I'll say thanks, guys. I thought that was really good. Just in general.
You were wonderful. Thank you for being here with us. And I hope you consider this was super fun. I love this game so dearly. It's one of my favorites.
Of course,
of all time. So.
I've been Osborne.
I've been Satan.
And I've been Mango.
And I've been Dan.
Wonderful. We love you, whoever's watching this, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.